Okay, so room 2 on the decorating journey throughout the house is Craig's room. Now, Craig has had this wallpaper in his room for years, many, many years. And obviously now he's a teenager and he's a late stage teenager now. He's like 17. I say like 17, like I don't know how old my own child is. He is 17. Obviously, this is a little bit too childish for a 17-year-old to have in his room. So he selected the colour he wanted, and I am setting about getting this wallpaper off. Now, normally when I do the decorating in the house, I usually use that mixed wallpaper. So you buy the dry powder and you mix it with the water, and that's what I use. Unfortunately, the only thing I've got to mix it in is like my mop bucket, which means I then can't mop the floors for however long it takes me to do the decorating and then decide to clean up the mess afterwards. So when I did Craig's room, I thought, no. I'm going to spend that bit of extra money and I'm going to buy the ready mixed wallpaper paste. Because then literally it's all in a tub and I can just put it straight up. It's going to be exactly the right consistency with the right stickiness, and I don't have to worry about cleaning up the mess. It's all there and done. So I got some of that pre-mixed stuff, and when I tell you the pre-mixed stuff I got was good, I am not lying. I mean, it took me and Dell about 3 days to get the wallpaper off. It was that stuck to the walls. I did think I could do it without a wallpaper scraper. I was wrong. Very, very wrong. My poor fingernails. Oh my goodness. They were proper damaged during this wallpaper removal because I was picking to try and start a new piece to pull off. Oh, it took forever. Eventually, I caved and went and got a wallpaper scraper, and it didn't help. I could not get like a purchase point on this paper to start scraping. It's insane. I don't know what stuff I used to stick this wallpaper on the walls. I wish I did, because I'd be buying it again and I'd be doing the same in our room. Because in our room, we put the wallpaper up on the walls and about maybe a week, maybe a month later, it's all starting to peel off the walls again. It's infuriating. So I wish I could remember what stuff this was. I'd be buying it again in a heartbeat. Now, my sister did message me when I was trying to get the wallpaper down, and she suggested maybe using, I think she said vinegar in hot water. So I went downstairs, grabbed a spray bottle, filled it full of hot water, vinegar, although I didn't have vinegar, so that's a lie. I filled it full of hot water and I think some Fabulosa, so it smelt nice. Yeah, it was hot water and Fabulosa. And I did try spraying the paper. Now, it did start coming off a little bit easier. But still, it was still so hard to get off. It was a laborious task. Now, she did say as well that maybe I should score the wallpaper so the water could get in. That didn't even help. Yeah. It was a nightmare. It really, really was a nightmare to get this paper off. I mean, it's lasted so many years and it's lasted so well. Something else I found with it as well, once I started using the warm water mix, the glue sort of, I don't know, not reactivated because that would make it more sticky, but it sort of liquidized the glue down, and glue was everywhere. There was like this thick, gooey layer all over the walls. It was all over my hands, it got on my clothes, it was all over the wallpaper scraper, which meant that the wallpaper bits were sticking to the scraper and making it even harder to get the angles to start getting the wallpaper off. Oh, this little bit of wall here, no word of a lie, I think took me about an hour. Wow, it was hard. And when I tell you, I think we started this at the beginning of... No, we didn't. I can't remember when we started this. But it's taken us at least 3 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks. It's just been really hard going. And in the end, I did get Dale to help me. So it's taken 2 of us 2 to 3 weeks to get in here. Plus, we have to kind of do it when Craig is at college, because otherwise he's in here and he's playing on his Xbox and he's talking to his friends. So we can't be in here, you know, decorating his room while he's trying to talk to his friends and relax after college. So we do it while he's at college. We did do it one weekend. We just moved his Xbox and his telly into our room so he could play the Xbox while we kept taking the wallpaper off. I mean, this here is with the hot water solution on, and the wall has been scored, as you can see, and it's still, that's how well it's coming off. Like tiny little flecks every 20 minutes. It was such hard work to get this room prepped, ready to redecorate. We were, like I say, taking it in turns because this was just so much hard work. In the end, we caved and we went and brought a steamer for the wallpaper. Now, I had a cold at the time, awful, rotten cold, so Dell put some Alba soil in the steamer, and then we steamed the room using the Alba soil in the steamer. Craig hates this cargo netting, camo netting. I mean, we put it up, he liked it at the start, but as he's grown older, he kind of doesn't like it. It's not centralised in his room, but look at the dust. Oh! Yeah, I now must admit that thing wasn't a good idea. I didn't realise it was collecting as much dust as it was. I mean, Craig always said there were spiders up there in it, but it never really bothered him. And like I say, as he's got older, he didn't like it as much up there. It wasn't centralised in his room and it was irritating him. He likes things to be central and square and that sort of thing. So we took it down for him and then carried on stripping the paper. Now, we did have the council out. Well, I say council, the housing association out, many moons ago to replaster the wall. And instead of replaster the wall, what they did was just skim over the plaster that was already there. So when we started stripping this wallpaper off, what actually came off was the plaster. I mean, there's paper on top of that plaster, but when we tried to take the paper off, it literally just started stripping the plaster off as well. And you can see this is wallpaper with the plaster underneath it. And you can see how thin that plaster is. They literally just skimmed it over and it all just came off. It was ridiculous. So now the room is prepped. We've got to give it a base coat of white. So everything gets, is it called sealing it? I don't know. But there's a lot of bare plaster. So we're going to give it primer coats and get it painted white before we start with the magic of the colour. I was so impatient to get colour on the walls. I really was. I kept rolling the white and the primers and all that. And all I wanted to do was start putting the colour on the walls. It's my favourite part of redecorating. I hate doing the ceilings white again because you can't see where you've been before. But while I was doing this, obviously the two of us are trying to squish into Craig's room at the same time. So I'm this side of the wardrobe, priming, prepping, and getting this part of the room ready. And on the other side of the wardrobe, as you're going to see in a second, is Dell, who is still taking the paper off and getting the walls ready for me to primer. So we're both working in here at the same time. We've also got like Craig's wardrobe in here. Up until the point we started painting, we did have Craig's old bed in here. But yet Dell is this side of the wardrobe squished in, and I'm the other side of the wardrobe squished in, as we both try and get this room done as quick as we can, because obviously Craig needs to sleep in here. So now everything's prepped with the base coats and that, we need to get him his bed set up. I didn't want to do this until we'd finished painting, but to both get in here, we needed to take the bed down, his old bed down. We thought we'd get the green up in a day, we didn't, so we had to put his new bed in before we'd finished painting. Yeah, it was difficult, but oh my goodness, it's so much better. I'm going to be very careful. I was so scared putting this bed up and putting this new mattress in. I don't have the best of luck with beds and mattresses. I've put divans in rooms and like moved the base, gone through the base, or sat on the base and gone through the base. Yeah, I know, probably not a great idea, but I've done that. Taken the plastic wraps off of mattresses, I've like cut into the mattress. It's just, I'm not good. Oh, it's time to go. I just want all the rooms in the house to be functional, practical, nice, good, clean. For so long we've had a lot of secondhand stuff, and there's nothing wrong with secondhand, but I just like new, and I didn't want to damage this.
There she is.
I was so proud. His mattress was Alyssa's old mattress. I think it was handed down from her. And he's got a brand new mattress. And it's so clean and so comfy. And I was so happy. I think we've all got new mattresses now, and it's brilliant. All right, ours is a bit older and it's got a little bit stained now. But I might get a professional out to deep clean that. I'm sick of trying to do it myself. It doesn't ever come up as nice and as clean as when a professional does it.
Oh, come feel it.
Soft.
Oh.
Just needs an hour or so just to relax.
Yeah,
before you
inflate.
make it.
Because it's a bit...
Yeah, just go and have a sit down for a bit.
I'll tell you what I am going to do though before a pet decides to jump on it. I'm going to get his mattress protector.
It's already up here.
That's going to go on. I know the bed needs to relax and
Half a box.
do its thing, and I'm going to let it, but it's having its mattress
All of us
protector.
now have mattress protectors on our beds. Now, we don't need waterproof mattress protectors, if you know what I mean. But I did decide to go with the waterproof mattress protectors. They do have a fleecy kind of lining on the top, so you're not, like with the mattress protectors you get for the little kids. They're just like plasticky, and that you end up sweating on them, and they're crinkly and they're horrible, and I don't like them. These ones are beautiful. They've got the waterproof bottom to them, but they've got the fleecy lined top, so they're lovely and comfortable. They protect the mattress. And honestly, with pets on, they jump on the bed. The cat comes in wet and jumps on the bed. Spills happen, things like that. We're going for the waterproof mattress protectors on all beds. Mattresses are just so expensive these days. And when you found a good, comfy one, you're going to want to get your money's worth out of it, aren't you? You're going to want it to last. So yeah, like I say, the waterproof mattress protectors with the fleece linings are going on top. I think the fleece lines also help keep you a bit warmer as well. So now that's his bed in place, Dell's going to go around and measure up the walls. Ready for painting. Craigie wants this colour. Hang on a minute, I'm going to keep you in suspense. It is one, he picked the colour himself and we had to get it specially mixed. This is the colour he picked. It was one of the colours off of his camouflage wallpaper that he had before. As you saw a minute ago, Dell was measuring up and doing the border because he wants green and white. So he went round with the spirit level and got us a straight level. And then I went round and did the cutting in. And he's finally got the green on his walls. He, like I say, he picked the colour off of his camouflage wallpaper. And we went and got it specially made up. We did try several other colours of green and he didn't want them all. They didn't quite work in his room. So we ended up going with a specially mixed paint for him. And his room does look very kind of 1940s military base. I decided to paint the skirting boards as well with this green paint. Because our skirting boards and the way the plaster is, they kind of sort of blend into one another. And it's really hard to get a nice clean, crisp line. So I decided just to paint the skirting boards as well. The door has also been done. So yeah, the whole bottom half of his room is this camouflage army style kind of green. Once again, we are working on a limited time frame because we've only got the few hours he is at college to get this done. So me and Dell both feverishly working away to get 2 coats of this green on because one, I don't know, it didn't quite do it. Just the white came through again. So we need to get 2 coats done, all the cutting in done, get his bed back in place where it needed to be, and get everything kind of sorted out before he got back from college. We did only manage to get one side of his room done, and then he was off college for a couple of days. So we had to come back about a week later to finish the other side of his room. Oh, moving all that furniture backwards and forwards, gave me a really good idea. I was going to deep clean his room at the same time as redecorating his room. I like to do a deep clean at the beginning of spring, good old spring clean. But I thought, you know what, why not get a couple of rooms down nice and early and deep clean this room while decorating it. So we are going to move on to a bit of a deep clean after the decorating's done. But we need to get this done first. I cannot believe how long it has taken. I started this, I can't remember when. I honestly can't remember how long ago I started this redecorating project. And you'd think with such a tiny little room, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, I did not expect nearly a month later to be doing this. I genuinely didn't expect it to take this long. But what with Craig being in his room 24/7 and we've only got the time he's at college. Plus, me and Dale, we're a bit of a procrastinating couple, really. I'm terrible for procrastination and Dale seems to obsess over cups of tea. Like, he'll do 5 minutes work and then want a cup of tea. He's okay when he's at work, but when he's at home and he's doing like a project at home, 5 minutes, cup of tea, 5 minutes, cup of tea, 5 minutes, let's have some lunch, 5 minutes, cup of tea. So while I procrastinate all the time and it's hard for us to get started on the project, once we actually get started after 14 cups of coffee, I will literally, get started going and then he'll want a cup of coffee. And then because I've sat down and stopped, I'll procrastinate. So it's 3 cups of coffee later before we've started going again. So yeah, I think every day we only spent maybe 2 or 3 hours in this room. In the entire time Craig was at college. He's at college, say 9:30 by the time we get home. We have to go and pick him up at about 4. So, what's that, 7 hours? 6.5, 7 hours? We've had that length of time to get this room done, and every single day we have dilly-dallied, procrastinated, eaten lunch, gone to the shop for snacks, and drank more cups of coffee than is probably healthy for any human body to handle. So we've only probably done about an hour's work each day. It's ridiculous. Plus, we have to find something to, keep us company. So a show to stream or something like that, just to keep us company while we're decorating. And most of the time, there's only been room enough for one of us in here to actually do something at the same time. So I generally sit on the bed and just watch Del paint. Although in this particular clip, I am actually working. I am on my hands and knees painting the door and the skirting boards while Del does all the big rollering jobs. He's got the upper body strength to do the rollering very quickly. Me, it takes forever. I just dawdle. But I just don't have the strength. Moving that roller backwards and forwards. I don't know, I'm just a weakling. That and I just make excuses for everything. I'm tired of doing that. I don't want to do that anymore. But I know I won't change because I am me. And that's who I am, and yeah, I know I won't change. Anyway, stop whittering on. Here I come to paint the skirting boards. There's me. See, I am helping. I like doing little jobs like that. I like doing like the fine detail jobs. The bits other people find boring, I really find interesting. The big project jobs that take a lot of effort and energy, no, I don't like those that much. But here comes the deep clean part. So, Craig's curtains. I genuinely don't think these have been washed in the entire time they have been up. It really doesn't occur to me that curtains need laundering. But when we took them down to paint around the window frame, and all that, I noticed that they had mould spots on them. The mould in this house is terrible. Absolutely terrible. And I also noticed like some yellow, like staining at the bottom, like watermarks. So obviously when it's got damp in the window, that's caused like that yellowy staining. I don't know what caused it, but I assume the damp in the window. It looked like that. And like I say, there was mould on there too. So this is kind of what spurred me on, as well as moving all his furniture about to give his room a deep clean. I wanted it clean, fresh, newly decorated, and smelling beautiful. And he could start spring early, but with a nice, clean, fresh bedroom. So I took all his curtain hooks off and they went through the wash. I did put some Zaflora in there with them just to make them smell that extra bit special. I've got the Midnight Bloom, I think it's called, in the Zaflora. I love that smell. I was going to get the Linen Fresh, but I've not tried that one yet, and I don't know what that smells like. So I thought, we'll go with the one I know I like. It's a very deep smell. It sounds so weird, but there's a lot of body to that smell. I love it. I do like that one. I am going to get a small bottle though of the Linen Fresh just to, give it a try. Can't say you don't like it if you haven't tried it. So I'm going to give it a little try. But for now, while those are running through the washing machine, and I put them through on a nice hot wash as well, I'm just going to give Craig's room a good dust down, because after scraping all that paper and putting all that paint about everywhere, it's all a little bit dusty and grufty, and we seem to have got bits of paint spatter pretty much everywhere. To be fair, that was probably mostly me. I'm terrible when I paint. Literally, I get it everywhere. I'm surprised, to be honest, I've managed to get as much done as I have without getting paint all over my clothes, because I'm terrible with paint. I normally end up standing on, sitting on, or kneeling on a paint tin lid at some point. It's just me. Maybe it's because Dell's been there to supervise me. Who knows? Anyway, Craig's little box here. Now this thing is amazing. You're supposed to put like multiple phones in it, and they sort of sit between that little toaster rack bit there, and charge. But because Craig's got multiple things that need USB sockets, my sister gave me this, and it's one plug that goes into the mains, and then you could plug multiple USB things into it. It's fantastic. It means Craig can have his phone charger on, his watch charger going, his little like multicolour lamp things going. When he did have the air purifier in here, he could have that going as well. I may see actually if I can get a little dehumidifier for his room that runs off a USB. I wonder. I'm going to have a look into that, because this room is terrible. It's got 2 outside walls, and the humidity in here is abysmal. We have had the rendering redone on the outside of the house because it was really, really cracked, and water was getting in behind it and obviously getting into the brickwork. So it couldn't get rid of the moisture. So we had that redone, and it's allowed the bricks now to dry off a little bit. But we have to wait for obviously that process to fully happen, and it's not happened yet. Also, when Craig's in this room, he's in here all the time with his door shut, which means there's the humidity from the condensation from his breath. But also, he doesn't like having the little vent open, those trickle vents or whatever they're called, that are above most of the windows here in the UK. He doesn't like having that open. I think he's worried spiders might get in. Maybe he doesn't like the noise. Maybe it's a combination of a lot of things. I don't know. I have asked him in the past and he has told me, but my brain doesn't hold information like it should, so I don't really remember why he doesn't like open. The fact still remains, though, while he's in his room, he doesn't like having that vent open. Now, normally once he's left for college and I come round to do the daily cleaning, I will pop open those vents throughout the day. But of course, during the night, while he's asleep and while he's in that room during the day, the condensation is building up. So if I can get a dehumidifier that plugs into a USB port that's big enough to do that room, we can reduce the humidity in there, and it can just be left on 24/7, and we can just empty the water track. I've got to have a look. I do want one actually for maybe the bathroom, because the bathroom also is another room that it's on this side of the house where Craig's room is. It also has 3 outside facing walls. It's also what everyone keeps referring to it as single skin brick. I don't know what that means, but I know it's cold, I know it's damp, and I know it is always mouldy. It doesn't matter how much I clean it. It doesn't matter whether we have the extractor fan on or the little vent thing open. It doesn't matter if we've got the door open, the window open. We can have the heating on, we can have the heating off. That room is always the same. We've had the Housing Association out to have a look at the level of insulation in the roof. They've said the level of insulation in the roof is absolutely fine. In fact, they've been out. Once they came out, I'm sure they came out once and they said it's fine, but it's not fitted properly. So it's the correct density of foam, of insulation. It's just not fitted correctly. So someone came out and refitted it. Then they came out again and they said, no, actually it's too thin. We'll put some more up there for you. So they've put some more insulation up there. Then they came out again to have a look at it and they were like, oh, there's a leak in the roof. That could be it. They've come out so many times and one person will say it's fine and someone else will say, no, that's wrong. and they'll send someone else out to fix it. They'll say, oh no, that's fine. So yeah, it's just a nightmare. I've got them coming back out again to have a look at it again. But that means until they come out, I can't really clean the mould off. Although I've got pictures of it and photos of it. So maybe I just will clean the mould off. I'm sorry. It's disgusting. But anyway, back to Craigie's room. If I can get that dehumidifier, we can really, really reduce the humidity in his room. And then we won't have to worry about the damp and the mould in here. Also, removing the wallpaper. I know my sister's done it in her home to reduce the amount of mould. Because obviously the wallpaper and the wallpaper paste, I know a lot of them have got like anti-mould stuff in, but I find that stuff doesn't really work that well. And the mould seems to enjoy growing on the wallpaper. So if I remove the wallpaper, there can be no mould. And even if there is, it's a lot easier to wipe down the walls than it is to try and wipe the wallpaper without sort of taking off the pattern and the ink on the wallpaper. So yeah, definitely sticking with this. I also need to figure out how to get this radiator cover off, because you're supposed to be able to clean down the gaps in this radiator, but I don't know how to get that weird grid thing off the top. I have to look into that as well. But I mean, they're brand new radiators, so they don't really need a deep clean. I did though, however, clean all the green paint off that I'd got onto the radiator and the radiator pipes and part of Craig's bed and the bottom of the windowsill here. Yes, I told you, I get paint everywhere. It's just who I am. There's also paint on these windowsills from, well, I don't know, the last 3 or 4 times I've decorated his room. I don't know, it just sort of collects there. It's really weird. And also, I don't like the sealant round the base of the wall where it joins the windowsill. It just, I don't know, I hate sealant. Oh, I hate it with a passion. It blurs the line between one thing and another. Which, yes, I know is the point in it. But if I've got a nice, neat, crisp line between my wall and my windowsill, why would I want to go and put sealant on it so I'm not quite sure where the wall ends and I'm not quite sure where the windowsill ends and I can't paint it to get a nice straight line edge? And it's all wibbly wobbly and yeah, it's never straight, it's never nice, it's never neat. Maybe, perhaps, I don't know, maybe I need to get someone else to get it like pay a professional to come and do it. But if you look here where the sealant is, you can see where the sealant spills over onto the windowsill and where it goes up the wall. So you can't get a nice, clean, crisp paint line. Now, I did go along with my fingernail to try and scratch some of this extra excess off. Wow, extra excess is hard to say twice. It's hard to say once, to be fair. So yeah, I did scrape off the extra excess with my fingernail to try and get it a bit neater. But here, and I know there's probably going to be a few people that will shout at me and say you need the silicone because otherwise the air can get in and that can cause the damp. And like I say, maybe I'll get a professional to come back and do it. But here, there is no silicone. And here, I'm able to get a beautiful, beautiful, clean, crisp line between the window frame and the wall. Once, of course, I've cleaned off the excess paint because, like I say, I get paint everywhere. It's just who I am. It's just me. I'm happy with it. It's fine. Plus, it makes a very satisfying clean afterwards. You get to take, like, the window frame from this to I did also realise I thought I cleaned these windows. I have cleaned these windows multiple times. Cleaned these windows. But for some reason, some way, somehow, at the top of Craig's window was oh, I know where it's from. And it just dawned on me. I found like wallpaper paste and bits of wallpaper, and I thought, well, I've cleaned these windows. How is there still wallpaper paste and wallpaper from when I redecorated his room years ago, like literally years and years ago? How is it still there? Well, it's because, dummy, that you've stripped the wallpaper from the room and reactivated the glue, and that went everywhere, as you said earlier in the video, including probably over some of the window frame. Because I didn't do over here, Dell did over here, and I know how much mess I made around the rest of the room. So it's very likely that the sticky wallpaper paste, there it is, and the bits of paper are because we took the wallpaper off the walls and it just went everywhere like the paint. So you can see just at the top of the window there, that's the vent I was on about earlier. I know for a fact, well, I don't know for a fact actually, I am telling porkies. I was going to say I know for a fact spiders can't get through there, but actually the exact polar opposite is true. I do know spiders can get through there. So I can't exactly say to Craig, nah, you good mate, spiders can't get in, because I will be lying. And apart from the very obvious porcupine, some of us tell the younger people in our family. I tend to try and not lie to my kids. Obviously, where surprises and things like that are concerned, yeah, they don't need to know that sort of thing. But if I tell him spiders can't come through there, and one great big hulking spider does come through there, then he'll know I've lied to him and he won't trust me anymore. I have found, however, for those of you out there that are slightly nervous of the 8-legged creatures that come running through vents and things like that, peppermint. Peppermint works really, really well at keeping the little critters down. It's not a guarantee, absolutely not a guarantee, but it does seem to work really well. Plus, has the added advantage of making your home smell gorgeous. I have heard people say, like oranges, like citrus type scents, they can often help keep spiders out. Personally, I've not tried that. I don't dislike the orange scents, and if I have an orange scented cleaner, I'll use it. And I go through phases of really liking the lemon scented cleaners. Like if it's really the height of summer, it's really hot, and you got all your windows open and the sun's shining, then I like a lemon scented cleaner sometimes. But for me, I really, really favour and love a peppermint cleaner. I do. The peppermint zoflora mixed down with a bit of water as a multi-surface cleaner. Works like a charm. So I don't know whether the citrus and the lemony flavours, scents even, keep the spiders out. I do know though, like I said, the peppermint works quite well. We find the odd spider occasionally in the house. We used to be overrun by what I call daddy long leg spiders. They're cellar spiders, those ones that are like all legs. They're just great big leggy things. We used to get quite a lot of those in the house. We don't so much anymore. I have found though, keeping cobwebs down helps. If you've got a spider web and you keep getting rid of the spider web, they tend to just rebuild them. But if you've got cobwebs, getting rid of the cobwebs seems to keep them down. Don't know why. Mind you, having said that, I haven't decobwebbed my home in a very, very long time. In fact, during the deep cleans, you're going to see just how cobwebby my house is. I very, very rarely dust the ceilings. Seems like an odd thing to do, actually. When you talk about it, I dust my ceilings. You sound like a bit of an obsessive person. Wow, words difficult today. What happened there? All right, let's get back to what we're doing. Now we've cobwebbed and dusted the ceilings. I'm putting Craigie's curtains back up. Now, they look so different now they're washed. I thought they were really pale. I thought they'd been like sun bleached. They haven't. Clearly, evidently, what that was dust. Yes, dust. Failing that, it could be that because we changed the colour of his room, it's like that, what's it called? Where other colours change the colour of the thing around it. So like, we've done green and white at the top, but in some camera angles, this looks like green and cream. And it's not. Colour theory, there we go. That's the second time today I've had to remember that. It's like colour theory. I thought maybe that because his room was a different colour, maybe that the curtains looked a different colour, but I suspect actually it's probably because I've had a wash. And they're wet as well, so I'm hanging them wet, and hopefully hanging them wet will mean A, they'll dry non-creased, B, they'll make the room smell gorgeous, and C, saves me ironing them and tumble drying them. My tumble dryer's still not flipping fixed though. I need to get that sorted. Still waiting for a part. The funniest thing is, they've said it could be one of three things. They haven't got the parts for the one of three things it could be. So they're going to get all the parts just in case, and then they're going to come and look at it. Well, it could be none of the three things. It could be a secret fourth option, and I'll have to wait for another part. Come and have a look at it, then get the parts after you know what's wrong with it. Oh, but that'd be too simple, wouldn't it? Anyway, I have been itching to clean the carpets. I've been desperate for the sun to come back out. Because I tell you what, once I clean these carpets, there's a quick clean option on this machine. And it will have the floors clean and dry within an hour. But because I haven't cleaned the carpets for a very, very long time, and we've been redecorating in here, I kind of thought it best to give the carpets a deep clean. Now that does mean it puts down more detergent, it does mean it scrubs the pile harder, and obviously that means it takes a little bit longer to dry. It was still dry within the day, but if I'd done a deep clean on these carpets in the winter, they'd have taken so long to dry, it would have been a nightmare. This little patch here, just in front of that middle leg on Craig's bed, that's where he gets in and out of bed. That's where he sits to play his computer games and all that. So that pile on the carpet there is worn. When we get round to replacing all the carpets, I will be getting a rug to go there. That means we'll be able to save the carpet a bit. Look at that dirt. Look at it all. Now, in Craig's room, he doesn't wear shoes. He comes home, he takes his shoes off, he's done. It's only when I walk in there and clean and do that sort of thing. So, you know, taking your shoes off doesn't really seem to save much on dirt in that carpet, because shoes are very rarely in Craig's room. So maybe, mind you, maybe it's the dog coming in and out. Who knows? Anyway, that was filthy. Let's move on with the shelves, because yick. Now, the shelves cause me such grief. Such grief. I hate this shelf. It would not go back on. It would not stay on the wall. I ended up literally just letting out this rageful roar of annoyance, which sent Dell coming in from the other room. He's like, what? You having problems with the shelf? Let me have a go. I'll sort it. He didn't say that. He wasn't that patronising. But, you know when the men come in and they're like, I'll save you. He came in and he tried to help and he tried to save me. He couldn't do it. So both of us got to working on this shelf. And it still would not stay on the wall. So I abandoned ship. I decided, right, I'm going to finish making Craig his bed. And Dell can go and get some glue. And he can glue the flipping shelf to the wall because, in the end, what we did was switch the shelves over. Turned out the top shelf should have been the bottom shelf and the bottom shelf should have been top shelf. And once we switched them over, they both stuck to the wall. Fine. It was okay. So that did get sorted in the end. And now, guys, here is the big reveal. Oh, no, not the big reveal. Got to put his blanket on. He takes this blanket straight off, but I like to put it on there because the dog will sleep on this blanket and so will the cat. So it keeps his duvet a bit fresher for a bit longer, but he doesn't like to sleep with that blanket on his bed, so he'll take it off at the night. But at least it keeps the dog and the cat off of his actual bedding. And now it's time for the big reveal. Here is Craig's room. Looks a lot more grown up. It's a lot neater, a lot tidier. We've still got to put his Teds back on the shelf. They're in the washing machine at the minute. But yeah, beautiful room. I hope you've enjoyed that video. I'll see you for the next decorating or cleaning video.